Modernisme par Guell. Modernisme stands for modernism in Catalan, known in English as Catalan modernism. In the late 19th century, arises in Spain and Europe a new architectural style that seeks to leave behind the constructive and architectural style that has been used, increasing their aesthetics, poetics, and eager to express their Catalan identity. Catalan modernism seeks to break the traditional criteria and seeks new ways to build, contrary to the developed in the Industrial Revolution that occurred in the first half of the 19th century, where it was a prevailing technique style and constructivist aesthetic provided by the use of steel.
In the Catalan modernism was a thought to reflect the nature in the ornaments, by carving stone or with ceramic works, giving it a wealth of color and texture. It is characterized by the predominance of the curve over the straight line, by rich decoration and detail, by the frequent use of vegetal and other organic motifs, the taste for asymmetry, a refined aestheticism, and the dynamic shapes. Antoni Gaudí is the best-known architect of this movement.
Antoni Gaudí i Cornet was born in Reus on June 25, 1852. To support himself had to work, so he worked as a draftsman with engineers and architects.
He studied and discovered the laws of geometry and construction that nature is made of, the masterpiece of the creator, and sought to make his art with these models, not copying the creation but following its course. It is what he said, the originality consists in returning to the source. With the conviction that no work is possible without sacrifice, turned to a life of penance and voluntary poverty. He died on June 10 of 1926.
Initially, this project was conceived as a housing for people with high social status, a model urbanization, a living paradise, covering approximately 20 acres divided into 60 triangular plots adapted to the slab topography. Park Güell is a reflection of the artistic fullness of Gaudí. It belongs to his natural stage, inspired by organic forms of nature, applying new structural solutions originated in the deep geometry analysis.
Lacking of any rigid, rational or classical premise, his work acquired very unique values, shapes and volumes. In addition, he planted trees to respect and support the environment and create green areas made up of native species. When the topographical map was made, with the 20 acres Guell plot, he noted that, given the terrain, it would be very difficult to make the roads because it would need to take many embankments that would spoil the beauty of the landscape. So he designed the famous viaducts, allowing to save the gaps that had the mountain. This respect for nature is also one of the principal premises of the Catalan modernism.
The viaducts are supported on leaning columns made of brick covered with natural stone of the place. In total, there are about 3 kilometers of roads with slopes of 6% for pedestrian paths and up to 12% for cars. These viaducts will also have the function to convey water over the land and serve as an irrigation system for a lush vegetation introduced in what was once an arid area with less vegetation. The tour ends at the water overflow, with the form of a salamander located in the center of the stairway.
This form is due to the representation of Piton, keeper of the groundwater, which is referred to what is behind it, a cistern, that retains the rainwater that is necessary to maintain what it was such a dry land. Has a capacity of 12,000 liters. The columns holding up the long-way channel also distributes rainwater to the tank that hides the salamander. Gaudí planted new vegetation, choosing native Mediterranean species: palm, carob, pine, cypress, fig, almond, plum, lavender, thyme, rock rose, sage, mimosa, magnolia, among others.
The Park Güell is characterized by a diversity of spaces and functions, while the spiritual ascension appears to be the fundamental premise of the project. Each space has a different identity and contains a unique symbolic message. This variety of components generates coherent principles and aesthetics. Gaudí used the 60-meter gap between the highest and the lowest part of the field, uniting all symbolically, projecting a winding road that would mean the elevation of the spirit, which finishes on the top with what was planned as a chapel, but eventually led to a monument with 3 crosses. This gesture is a sign of the immense symbolic and religious content that Gaudí used to capture in each of his works, showing a deep bond with his beliefs.
This is a great example of how architecture can be functional while still being beautiful, because the shape of the elements define its role, creating a path very pleasant for those who transit. Despite the sinuosity that is present in most of the elements that make up this park, each one is fraught with much meaning and functional sense, which makes this a milestone in the culture of the city of Barcelona. Each space within the park made the route vary, but all are reminiscent of the nature, imitating it, representing it, symbolizing it, and they combine with it. Roads like meandering rivers, wavy, slightly inclined or tree-shaped columns, caves, and local materials cause this sensation. Despite the changes of direction that took the project, all these factors make this work one of the largest and most important representations of Catalan modernism. Thanks for watching.